Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In recent years, we have seen what was once unimaginable become an everyday reality in this country. International violent criminals attacking law enforcement officers, the same criminals brazenly taking over neighborhoods and complexes and moving drugs, firearms, and human captives throughout the United States at will. Open border policies have enabled this reality to take root, to grow, and to mature. And few criminal terrorist organizations have exploited this reality more proficiently than the group known as Tren de Aragua, or TDA. Tren de Aragua, a once isolated Venezuelan prison gang, has expanded its reach throughout the Western Hemisphere and is wreaking havoc right here in American communities all over the country. Since fiscal year 2021, nearly 1 million Venezuelans have been encountered by the U.S. Customs and Border Protection nationwide, and over 120,000 Venezuelans were flown into the United States under the previous administration's parole program. TDA specifically exploited the Biden-era parole programs and lax border security policies to infiltrate our country and to destabilize our communities via a barrage of criminal activity. These activities include, but are not limited to, kidnapping, human and sex trafficking, smuggling, and distribution of dangerous drugs like synthetic opioids, money laundering, organized retail crime, and the violent extortion of community members and small business owners. Thankfully, President Trump adeptly recognized the threat that this criminal organization poses and swiftly issued an executive order numbering 14157 on January 20th, 2025, which appropriately designated TDA as a foreign terrorist organization. Despite this designation, much work is still needed. Armed TDA members continue to wreak havoc on residential communities, and they target our law enforcement professionals actively. Just a few days ago, a suspected TDA member who was illegally in the United States attempted to murder federal law enforcement officers during a traffic stop in Nebraska. In my home state of North Carolina, recent reporting by the Carolina Journal illustrates the surging numbers of TDA members who are being encountered and arrested by law enforcement who are in possession of firearms and involved in crimes such as homicide, kidnapping, extortion, human trafficking, and drug trafficking. TDA's presence and expansion into the United States is growing every day. Due to the number of illegal entrants who are already present, it is impossible to know who is in this country and why they are in the country. This enables sophisticated groups like TDA to put down roots to strategically grow and to proficiently metastasize into a force multiplier for crime, death, and destruction. Because of their size, paired with the sophisticated tactics that range from encrypted communications to counter-surveillance networks, this bill is needed in an urgent way. TDA has ballooned into a national problem, and we need to respond accordingly. This legislation would require the Department of Homeland Security to conduct a comprehensive border threat assessment that would identify the criminal threats posed by TDA members and their criminal subsets who have entered our country, and the threat, importantly, posed by TDA members who are actively seeking to enter the country. This legislation further mandates that DHS develop a strategic plan using all levels of existing law enforcement to mitigate the threats and to prevent TDA from continuing to proliferate into this country. Law enforcement and their intelligence counterparts need to employ a unified and focused strategy, one that recognizes the constantly evolving tactics of this organization. It is far past time that we shift from a posture of weakness and defense to one of strength and offense when it relates to this particular organization. I want to thank my Republican colleagues on this committee for partnering with me to introduce this important legislation. And while I am disappointed that no one on the other side of the aisle signed on as a sponsor to this legislation, I look forward to hopefully securing your support as this bill leaves the committee and hopefully goes to the Senate and then to the White House. Let's send a clear message today that the United States will not be a safe harbor for violent foreign terrorist organizations like TDA. I urge all of my colleagues to join me in supporting this legislation. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.